Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu, for hosting and the sweet Kirtan. So we'll start with Mangala Charan. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागजातां सागना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे I'll just share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Let me. I think there is. Okay, it's okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on we are talking about 26 Vaishnava quality series. Over the past many weeks, we have been covering each quality of Vaishnava. So today I will be speaking on quality of being grave, Gambhir or Gambhirata. So I would like to first begin by asking all of you, what do you understand? What do you mean by being grave?
So Manjari Gopi Mataji is saying serious.
Okay.
Hmm? And Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu is. Do you want to share? He said, so grave, the word comes in the word graveyard, na?
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of points to the same thing, seriousness, because in a graveyard,
Mm-hmm.
serious atmosphere. Nobody is joking around or cracking, making.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. I think there is a chat also which I am not able to
So
see.
one who has gravity. Nitya Mataji is saying, what do you mean
Okay.
by, yeah, being grave,
Mm-hmm.
who has gravity?
Nice. So yes, all All the points were very nice. We will first see what does dictionary say, the dictionary meaning of being gray. So, yes, as a noun, it's a burial place like a graveyard, what Vallabh Prabhu was saying. As an adjective, it is something serious or important, describing a situation, problem, or matter that causes great concern, worry, or danger. Somber or dignified, having a quiet, serious, and solemn look or mood. Interestingly, it also means low pitched, describing a deep or low sound. So, and verb as a verb, carve or engrave, to cut, etch, or shape letters or designs into hard surface like stone or wood. So, like engraving, we say sometimes. So, the topic of gravity is very interesting, and we can see we saw the dictionary meaning, and now we'll see a little bit more deeper on what it means as a devotee and what our scriptures and Srila Prabhupada say about it. So there are many aspects to this quality, and we'll cover them gradually in the course of the discussion in group of the qualities. But some of them are like being serious, like we discussed, being focused, not taking lightly, being deep in Krishna consciousness, not disturbed by external situation, thoughtful before speaking, or being yourself, not imitating others. So for the first one, I when I thought about this initially, it looked very interesting to me. It's about how it is more of an internal disposition rather than just external appearance. That just we, it's not that we just look grave. It's more determined by our internal disposition and consciousness or attitude. So, so the first section we'll see about how it means, what it means to be serious, focused, or being yourself. So, seriousness, we can think of it as like something which we focus, like focusing on one thing and making it as our life and soul. And in general, uh, we can see it is very important quality in our life in general, not just related to our bhakti or our devotional life, but also in our professional or family life or other aspects of our life. That how it is important that whatever, if we lack any amount of seriousness in whatever we do, we lose value. So basically, we lose our value because of lack of seriousness in anything we do. But that seriousness should not be an artificial. It should be genuine. Should not be artificial or imitation. For example, if someone's nature is being a jovial person, and suddenly one day he acts very serious, it we can feel it's very odd or awkward, like what we may ask him what happened. So we don't need to actually change our nature, but what we are talking about is something internal, that it's not that we just we change our nature and then I need to be grave, so not talking to others or not associating with others, not stopped communicating with others. That's not actually what it means. So there are a few examples from scriptures, like we know story of Sudama and Krishna. So Sudama did not, he was very poor. He did not have much to offer to Krishna in a way, like he was always absorbed in Krishna consciousness very deeply within his heart, but externally he was very poor. So when he was going to meet Krishna in Dwarka, he borrowed chipped rice poha from his neighbors and he took that because he wanted to give something to Krishna. So he didn't have anything. So he got the poha. So, but that doesn't, so here it's the point, what I'm what I'm focusing in this section is about not imitation. And it's not that, okay, so Dama gave poha to Krishna to please. So we just, from now onwards, we just like offer poha, that's it, nothing else. Or in case of Kubja, she was uh, ha- serving a very special scented sandalwood paste, chandan paste for Kamsa. But when she met Krishna, she offered it to Krishna, and Krishna was pleased. She was hunchback woman. She became beautiful bodily luster. So that doesn't mean we just follow that and like we like offering only Chandan to Krishna no matter what, like Chandan Yatra always. There was a one more special uh, close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Kolavecha Sridhar. He was very poor. He only he wore uh, torn clothes. He was a banana leaf seller, and he was whatever he got, he gave 50% to worship of Mother Ganges and other for maintaining his livelihood. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was displaying his Mahaprakash Leela in Srivas Angan, he called he called they, he told devotees to call Kolavecha Sridhar. Where is Sridhar? No one knew, that time no one knew about Kolavecha Sridhar. So he was called and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, what do you want? Please ask some benediction from me. So he was offering him all the riches, possession of heavenly pleasures, all the riches. But he denied everything and he just asked for his sweet pastimes which he had with Nimai, where Nimai would come to his shop and argue and bargain his for the banana leaves. So he just wanted that. He was such absorbed in pure devotion to Krishna. But again, like seeing this, that doesn't mean we just like stop our whatever occupation we are engaged in, like stop that and just like start selling banana leaves for that matter. So the real meaning of this is that whatever um, whatever intention we have behind any activity. So once we know the result of doing a work that changes any work that changes our life. So if it changes our life, then we will put our life and soul in think in behind the intention, putting our body, mind, and soul into it, our whole heart into it. And that is, and if we think is to be the work to be of someone else, then that is not uh, what is called as grave. So grave people always look at the whole picture, the complete picture, rather than just part of it. And also the seriousness doesn't depend on the magnitude of the work, if it's small work or big work. Like in our case, a big seva, if you're doing a big seva, then that means we are serious. If you're doing some small seva, then that means it's not serious. We are not serious. No, it's not like that. So seriousness doesn't depend on the magnitude of the work or seva we are doing. So we can know if we are grave by like how much focus and attention we are doing to the details. That is a sign of love, as Guru Maharaj also says, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj has a quote on related to this, that the love is shown by how much attention we pay to details. So once Srila Prabhupada was visiting uh, Vrindavan with mm, new devotees from Western world, from US, and they were visiting Vrindavan for the first time. They were traveling on Tanga, the horse carriage ride, and they were very excited uh, that what they heard about Vrindavan from Srila Prabhupada, they are going to visit. They they came to first Mathura, and then they had so much. they were so much anxiously waiting to when will Vrindavan come? It is almost 8 kilometers from there. So they were trying to be very serious and grave, like just focus and just wait for if Srila Prabhupada. They were just waiting if Srila Prabhupada will say something about some intimate pastimes of Krishna with Brajvasis, with Radharani, with Gopals. But after some time, uh, they they thought that Srila Prabhupada is saying something, so they just leaned forward. And Srila Prabhupada said cement. Then Gurudas Prabhu asked, "Mm, excuse me, what cement?" So he was confused initially. So what Srila Prabhupada was trying to refer is that time cement was banned for some reason, and that cement was required to make the temple of Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan, or ISKCON temple. So, so, so we can see he was actually, we can see the meaning of gravity in this sense. It's not just about what we think, that what we are expecting from Srila Prabhupada. He will tell about some Vrindavan Braj pastimes or something. But that is the seriousness what Srila Prabhupada displayed in that context. And so that cement was required for constructing Krishna Balram Mandir, which is a higher seva, and that is actually real meaning of gravity in that case. There is also a pastime of His Holiness Surabhi Maharaj, who was sent to Vrindavan to assist in the temple construction project of Krishna Balram Mandir. And when he initially went to, when he heard that he was going to Vrindavan, he was thinking in his mind that he will roll in the dust, he will visit Keshi Ghat, Vamshivat, Govardhan, Radha Kund, Sham Kund. And when he arrived in Vrindavan, then Srila Prabhupada gave him the seva of counting the cement bags for making the temple, for the temple construction. So he wrote back to Prabhupada saying, "What is this, Srila Prabhupada? I came here for, I thought I would be absorbed, hear about pastimes of Krishna and just do my bhajan. What is this counting cement bags? Then, what is this kind of bhakti?" So Srila Prabhupada says, "This is a bhakti for you, as in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna's bhakti was to fight in the battlefield. So similarly, your bhakti is counting cement bags for temple construction." So there's a lesson here. So we need to become grave in following instructions of Guru Maharaj and not endeavor something separately. So if we only who does I mean, who follows the instructions of Guru Maharaj, that devotee attains lotus feet of Krishna. So that is, externally the cement looks like something insignificant or material thing, but actually, I mean, if we just focus on that small part, we may think it is insignificant. But if we think of a bigger picture, then that is a great service of making temple for the Lord and mm, preaching Krishna consciousness for so many years to come. Once Srila Prabhupada visited Juhu temple, where when the temple was in construction, and there was a lot of sound of construction machines, drilling machines and other machines. So there was a lot of sound like that, which was a noise to some devotees. Asked Srila Prabhupada that if they can move him to some quieter place where he can focus more on his writing. But he said, uh, what is sound? There's no sound. It's kirtan. So I actually perceived the apparent construction noise as a kirtan, because it was for the service of the Lord, constructing temple of Shri Radha, Ras Bihari. So we can we can implement the concept of seriousness mm, by following the process which is given by Srila Prabhupada, like morning program and other instructions given by our gurus, Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus. S- So in summary, in this section, so we can follow this, we can understand this by being ourselves. We can take inspiration from others, but identifying our nature and serving accordingly, not imitating others, and doing our seva with full focus, giving attention to details and sincerity. So we know the story of Chataka bird, who only drinks water from a specific cloud, monsoon clouds, not any other source. So, and also while dying, the bird opens its beaks upwards in a way that even if it dies in Ganga water, it doesn't want to drink that water. It only waits for the specific water. So in so the lesson for us is that Krishna personally takes care of us and arranges. If we take one step towards him, which if we show gravity and seriousness in our bhakti, there is a story of sparrow and Garuda, that there was a sparrow who laid eggs on the ocean, on an ocean shore, and the ocean wept away those, like the waves of the ocean took away those eggs with them. And because of that, Sparrow was very angry, and he Sparrow told Ocean that return my eggs, otherwise I will dry you up. And actually, the Sparrow was so determined, he started taking a drop at a time in his beak and putting it on the other side, on the land, in a intense spirit of uh, drying up the ocean. So Garuda happened to see his endeavor and his determination, and out of his compassion and mercy, he came and he stopped and he went to the ocean and uh, spoke to the personified ocean that if you don't return his eggs, then I will dry you up. The fearing Garuda, the ocean gave back the eggs. So here, what we need to learn is the lesson for us is we should just focus on our work, and we need to be determined and uh, com completely focus, not worry about the outcome as such. But we need to, if we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes thousands of steps towards us. So Krishna definitely arranges help like he arranged for Garuda. So in our life, he can arrange help through different means. And we have support and blessings of lot of devotees around us, or Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, other senior devotees. So if we can just be focused on our work, then definitely Krishna arranges. So the next section is about being deep, thoughtful, and absorption in Krishna. So there is a definition Srila Prabhupada mentions in Nectar of Devotion in the section of, I think, chapter 20, qualities of Sri Krishna. So this quality is also displayed by Krishna also, it's not that it's only a Vaishnava quality. So Srila Prabhupada mentions this there as a definition for gravity. So, which means who does not express his mind to everyone, and secondly, whose mental activity and plan of action are very difficult to understand. So, these two are the definitions as per Nectar of Devotion. For the second one, whose mental activity and plan of action are very difficult to understand, so we can think of it So there is an example we can understand this from, like an example in a game of chess, where we need to when to be one has to make his moves and also at the same time adapt to opponent's moves in order to win the game. So that needs a lot of deep thinking. So similarly, this is the deep thinking point can be understood by few examples which we will see now. Like the first one is about Vishnu, Lord Vishnu and Shiva in the Mohini Murti pastime, where the Mohini avatar completely bewildered the demons and they happily handed over the nectar to Mohini avatar. And so at that time, Lord Shiva was praying to Lord Vishnu, and in that pastime, Lord Shiva was praying that he wants to have the darshan of the Mohini Murti. So Lord Vishnu went into deep thought. What type and what was that thought, that what type of form he has to take, which will bewilder even bewilder Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is not an ordinary personality. He is Vaishnavanam Yathashambhu, topmost of Vaishnavas, and also his consort is the material energy. So he so Krishna went into a deep thought of in what kind of form will he take, even to so that Lord Shiva will be bewildered. In the case of Shiva and Daksha, the famous pastime, Daksha did not understand the deep mood of Lord Shiva, that he was completely absorbed in Krishna, and he committed offense, and as a result, Sati had to give up her life. So, so the lesson here is we have to respect other Vaishnavas even if they are not able to reciprocate at that point. Maybe they are in some deep thought. So uh, that avoids also helps in avoiding offenses, and we can cultivate this depth in our bhakti, irrespective if even if others are not able to understand it or not. This will ultimately help others. And in the third example of Lord Brahma and Krishna, Lord Brahma offering prayers to Krishna after Brahma Vimohan Leela, that Brahma was completely uh, not sure. Uh, he was not able to understand what is going on in Krishna's mind, that if Krishna is satisfied or dissatisfied. So that is a example of Krishna's gravity, which was displayed at in this particular pastime. So once Srila Prabhupada uh, landed in Austin airport, and a woman reporter asked him, uh, when you got off the plane, you looked very grave. So why is that? So Srila Prabhupada replied that that is because he was always thinking about Krishna. And because Krishna is so great, he is grave. So naturally we become grave. And then later the reporter asked Prabhupada that if he ever smiled, and Prabhupada he replied, in reply, Prabhupada smiled. So uh, that so this is like assurance that he could not just smile but also think of Krishna. So this quality of gravity in this section of deep thoughtful and absorption is also, it's very interesting that how Srila Prabhupada explains it in terms of an absorption in Krishna. Like we know the famous verse always mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So devotee is, so that is So when a devotee is grave, he is actually absorbed in Krishna. So the understanding of gravity is Prabhupada explains more on the lines of being absorption in Krishna. There are few more uh, verses in Shastra, in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, which talk about uh, uh, further different aspects of gravity, like steadiness and steady and undisturbed. Like in Bhagavad Gita 2.56, Dukheshu anudvignamana sukeshu vigata spraha vitaraga bhaya krodha stitha dhira munir uchyate. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries or related when there is happiness and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. I would like to let me want to share the third part. Yes, so here Srila Prabhupada explains about what is meant by a word muni. So muni is who can agitate his mind in various ways for mental speculation without coming to a factual conclusion. So every muni has a different angle of vision, but a sthita dhira muni is which is mentioned in this verse is different from ordinary muni. And this type of muni is always absorbed in Krishna, always in Krishna consciousness, and who has surpassed the stage of mental speculation and has come to conclusion that Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. Vasudev Krishna is everything. So that so so he is called the Muni who is fixed in his mind. And he is since he is fully absorbed in Krishna, he is not disturbed by the threefold miseries, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Adhyatmik. And he accepts those miseries as the mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past deeds, and sees those miseries they are minimized by the grace of the Lord. They are minimized to the lowest. And when he's happy, he gives all the credits to the Lord, thinking that he is unworthy of happiness, and he realizes that it is only due to the Lord's mercy that he is able to uh, give some service in this position. And he also mentions about attachment and detachment. Attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification, and detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is neither attached or detached because he is dedicated to service of Krishna. So in either is and also he's not angry even if attempts are successful. So success or no success, a Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination. Then the next verse 57 uh, also talks about similar is in the same theme. या सर्वत्र अनाभिनेहस् तत्तत् प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् अभिनन्दन्ति अभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. In the material world, who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it or nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So here also Prabhupada talks about being situated in perfect position. Here he specifically talks about technically called samadhi, where one is not agitated by material upheavals, good or evil. Mm, So, so devotee is so a great devotee is steady and undisturbed. Uh, this is what we saw from these two last two verses. There is one more verse from third canto, 25th chapter. I will go to, yeah. तितिक्ष्व करुणैका कारुणिका सूरद सर्वदेहिनां शत्रभा सन्ता सदा वा साधुभूषणा. So this verse talks about symptoms of sadhu. What are the symptoms of sadhu? Sadhu is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characters are sublime. So, so this verse doesn't directly talk about being grey, but this the qualities which are mentioned here, they refer to being of that of being grey. These qualities, so sadhu is tolerant, merciful, peaceful, and fixed in devotional service, and these qualities naturally make him grey. So that is a meaning of understanding of meaning of gravity in context of this verse. And why is that? Because his consciousness is absorbed in Krishna rather than worldly activities, worldly affairs. Going ahead with few more points on what gravity means. This is kind of summary, which some of the points were covered earlier, but I will still mention it. So a great devotee is not disturbed by external circumstances. So Prabhupada writes that a devotee remains composed regardless of praise and criticism, success or failure. And because his happiness is anchored in Krishna, his happiness is comes from serving Krishna. He is not agitated by temporary events. So in this case, we can understand that spiritual steadiness produces gravity. Secondly, gravity arises from deep realization. So what this means is, Prabhupada explains, the devotee's mind is always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. So such person does not become frivolous, or becomes distracted, because his intelligence is fixed on life's highest purpose, achieving Krishna Prem or attaining lotus feet of Krishna. So the gravity is, in this case, the gravity is a natural result of spiritual absorption and is not really of any artificial nature. Third point is gravity means thoughtful speech. So a grave devotee does not speak unnecessarily. Prabhupada mentions in Nectar of Devotion that there are four things the devotional speech should be: truthful, beneficial, centered on Krishna, and free from idle gossip. So, because a grave person thinks is thoughtful what he is going to speak, his speech carries the influence and spiritual depth. Next is gravity is compatible with joy. This is interesting. So, gravity doesn't mean being unhappy, or like, if we may think that it means being serious, that means it may mean being unhappy, but it's actually the other way. It's the one who is grave is fixed in anchored, is deeply connected to Krishna, and because of that he experiences highest bliss, spiritual bliss. So externally, a grave devotee may appear very serious, but internally he's relishing devotional service. So it definitely doesn't mean sadness. It is spiritual happiness. And also, gravity reflects self-control, that a great devotee has control over speech, anger, impulses, emotions, and reactions. So instead of reacting impulsively, he's grounded on the mm, principles of Krishna consciousness and on the concepts of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and acting according to their desire. And next is great devotees exemplify gravity. So, yeah, there are many devotees in Shastras which exemplify this principle, this quality of. I'm going to at the towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to focus on one personality who exemplifies this quality. But there are other so many personalities which exemplify, for example, Prahlad Maharaj or Haridas Thakur, Srila Rupa Goswami, and so on. There are so many uh, whose they exemplify a true meaning of gravity, and their steadiness comes from complete dependence and taking shelter of Krishna. And the last one is gravity helps one avoid offenses. So this one I mentioned, I think previously in case of uh, which I think Daksha and Daksha and Lord Shiva's case, that a grave devotee is careful because a grave devotee is very careful in speaking or acting, and also is thoughtful in his speech. He is less likely to criticize others or engage in arguments or act in pride. So therefore, this quality protects one's devotional progress and also avoids offenses. Srila Prabhupada compares this quality, gravity, uh, uh, actually a grave devotee to a ocean which remains full. So grave devotee is like ocean which who remains full and undisturbed even though many rivers uh, continually flow into it. Just as the ocean is deep and not easily agitated, a grave devotee remains steady because his consciousness is absorbed in Krishna. So I would like to have a small discussion now, since we heard about what is the meaning of gravity and this different aspects of it, and from different references, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and different pastimes also. I would like to have a small discussion on the question that does gravity mean coldness, being antisocial, or lack of affection? So you can just share your thoughts. Either you can unmute or in the chat.
I don't think so, Prabhu. So gravity does not mean coldness, antisocial, or lack of affection, as you
Mhm,
so nicely pointed out. So many times we tend to think that somebody who's antisocial or has lack of affection, they're actually filled with pride. But
mhm,
it actually can be easily confused. They may actually be grave, but we think that they're proud. So that's another
mhm,
example of why we shouldn't judge anybody externally. Just because somebody is appears to be antisocial and does not appear to have a lot of affection, does not mean that they are
mhm,
proud. They could just be grave. So how do we know? Then how do we know if somebody is proud uh, or somebody is not humble? So
mhm,
recently I was, yeah, anyway. So what Maharaj says is in that context, he said that there are only times, three ways that we can know if we are actually genuinely humble or not. So Maharaj said the first thing is whenever you think that you know, if you think that you know, that means you are not humble. If you think that you're better than someone, that means you are not humble. And if you think that you are someone, that means you are not humble. So, yeah, so it's something that really stuck with me. And yeah, so just wanted to share about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Beautiful points.
So something I was also thinking about when this whole gravity discussion has been going on. So definitely the gravity doesn't mean coldness, being antisocial or lack of affection, but I think gravity does mean that we put the important things, like we keep the important things important. That is gravity, I feel like.
Mm,
We keep the big things big. Whatever
mm,
is important, we keep it important. We don't minimize its importance. So that is in a sense gravity. So gravity, it does not mean being antisocial or lack of affection. In some situations, affection may be needed. That may be the important thing. So then we have to
mm.
show affection. So that is not against gravity, I feel. Anyway, something I was thinking.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think Megha Mataji raised her hand. Yes, Mataji.
Hi Krishna Prabhu. So, God Kumar Prabhu's by God Kumar Prabhu's definition of humility, I'm not humble at all. So then, um,
None of us are. I mean, it's humility is a very, very high bar. So Maharaj mentioned
yeah.
it's a very high bar, and many times we use that word very easily. That yeah, this person is humble or this person is showing qualities of humility. But if you think about those three things that Maharaj recently told me,
Hmm.
definitely, even I had the same thought that none of us are actually humble. It's yeah, it's a very, very high bar. We just use it very lightly. And then if you think about people from Chaitanya Charitamrita like Kolavecha Sridhar, actually they were humble because none of these three things he actually thought of. He never thought that he was someone. He thought he was nobody. He never thought that he was better than anybody. Yeah, so
Hmm.
like that. I mean, and he never thought that he knew something more than anyone. Like genuinely, he was humble. So, yeah.
So Prabhu, then how do you like? I don't know how do we differentiate then lack of confidence and confidence, because the qualities that you mentioned are also associated with confidence, not competence, but
Yeah, yeah.
confidence for sure.
Yeah. So confidence and esteem, self-esteem should not be confused with humility. One must be confident. Prabhupada was very confident when he spoke because he had realized knowledge about what he spoke. When you have realized knowledge or you have genuine knowledge, then that comes out as confidence as a side effect. But it's not that you're proud. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So you can actually be humble and confident also. You can be humble and confident.
Yeah, I guess depends on what a person is saying or like just observing their actions or their
Yeah.
speech, how they are behaving or how
Yeah.
we are behaving ourselves.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for amazing contributions. We
So
can,
just a quick thing on that.
yes, yes, Prabhu.
Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu mentioned that there is an article by Urmila Mataji on this very topic, what is
Mhm.
humility and everything. So I'll try to find it online and put it on the chat, or maybe we'll put it on the group later on.
Sure, Prabhu.
Mhm.
So, moving ahead in our discussion. So, I would be, I picked Kardama Muni as the personality who exemplifies the quality of gravity from Srimad Bhagavatam. There are many other different personalities, but I picked Kardama Muni. and I'll talk about how he exemplifies one by one with the different aspects we discussed initially in our discussion, how he exemplifies the quality of gravity. So, before talking about that, I would like to talk about Kardama Muni's life in summary form. That we know that Kardama Muni was one of the Manasputra of Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma instructed him to assist in populating the universe, Prajapati, by producing qualified progeny. And although he was naturally detached and inclined, he was naturally detached and inclined towards spiritual life, he accepted this instruction as a service to the Lord. And we know how Kardama Muni performed severe austerities for 10,000 years on the bank of Saraswati River, near a sacred place called Bindu Sarovar. And he was completely his mind was completely absorbed in Krishna. And by being pleased by his devotion, Krishna appeared before him, and he offered beautiful prayers and glorified the Lord and uh, about different aspects. And Lord told him that he he already knows his heart. He already knows his desire of mm, having performing this seva mm, of populating the universe. So he he was desiring a suitable life partner. So Lord told him that Swayambhuva Manu would soon come with his wife Satarupa and bring his beautiful, cultured, devoted daughter Devahuti in the marriage, and later how Kardama would be blessed with 9 daughters, and also Lord himself would later appear as his son. So the next part of his life was marriage to Devahuti. So Swayambhu Manu came with Devahuti to Kardama Muni, and Kardama Muni accepted the marriage on one condition, that after fulfilling his duty of family life, he took it as a seva and producing children, good progeny, he would renounce the worldly life and dedicate himself completely to the process of self-realization. So Devahuti willingly accepted this this arrangement, and Devahuti faithfully served Kardama Muni with great humility, despite living in a life of extreme austerity and simplicity. Her body became very thin and austere, and she was constantly serving him with devotion. And by seeing her devotion, Kardama Muni he became very pleased and decided to reward her. S- So, by his mystic powers, he created a very magnificent flying palace, Viman, filled with big, beautiful gardens, lakes, jewels, and a lot of servants. And he also asked Devahuti to take bath in Bindu Sarovar, and that restored her youthful beauty through that celestial bath. And he traveled with her throughout the universe, visiting heavenly regions and enjoying household life based on the principles of religion. So, this demonstrates that the perfected yogis, like Kadima Muni, they possess so many extraordinary mystic abilities, yet he was unattached to them. So later he gave birth. Kardama and Devahuti became parents of 9 daughters, who later got married to great sages, and the glorious uh, progeny continued. And in that lineage, many exalted sages and many exalted sages and lineages, they expanded from them. Some of the famous sages were Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Bhrigu, Vashishta, and so on. And then appearance of Lord Kapila, as promised by Lord Vishnu earlier. Supreme Lord appeared as Lord Kapila, as a son of Kardama and the Muni and Devahuti. And Lord Kapila came to teach Sankhya philosophy centered on devotion to the Lord, bhakti, and centered on bhakti. So Kardama recognized uh, Kapila as Supreme Lord and he offered his heartfelt prayers. And then, at the end of his life, after fulfilling Lord Brahma's instruction and his responsibilities as a husband and duties as father, he took permission from Lord Kapila and Devahuti to leave home. And he entered a renounced order and uh, wandered as a detached sage, fixing his mind completely on the Supreme Lord. And through that, he ultimately attained spiritual perfection. So how Kardama Muni exemplifies the quality of gravity? So there are 6 points I made. I'll go one by one. First one is he performed prolonged austerities without distraction. So he performed severe penance for 10,000 years just to please Supreme Lord. He did not become impatient or seek for any quick results. So his steadiness reflects his gravity, uh, that his mind was not agitated by desires or external circumstances. Secondly, he spoke only when necessary and with a purpose. So when Swayambhuva Manu approached him regarding marrying Devahuti, his daughter, Kardama Muni spoke very respectfully and thoughtfully. He did not indulge in any excessive speech or any emotional reactions. His words were very much aligned with dharma and his his promises which he made to the Lord earlier. So there is a very nice verse from this section in Srimad Bhagavatam 3, third canto, 22, chapter 21st verse. Maitreya Vacha सा उग्र धनवान् एव एव भावसे असि चतुष्णीम् अरविन्दनाभिं धियोपघ्राणां समिता शोभितेन मुखेन चेतो लुलुभे देवहूतये. Sri Maitreya said, O great warrior Vidura, the sage Kardama Uh, the sage Kardama said this much only and then became silent, thinking of his worshipable Lord Vishnu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, his face captured the mind of Devahuti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. So Srila Prabhupada says, it appears that Kardama Muni was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness because as soon as he became silent, he at once began to think of Lord Vishnu. That is the way of Krishna consciousness. Pure devotees are so absorbed in thought of Krishna that they have no other engagement. Although they may seem to think or act otherwise, they are always thinking of Krishna. The smile of such a Krishna conscious person is so attractive that simply by smiling he wins so many admirers, disciples, and followers. So Kardama Muni just spoke what was necessary and he, he silently smiled. Third is he remained detached even amid extraordinary opulence. So after marrying Devahuti, Kardama Muni, as we discussed, he created a magnificent flying palace and fulfilled her desires, all the desires. Yet although he was surrounded by all the opulence, he was never attached to those comforts, and he used them as part of his duty as a seva to the Supreme Lord and not for personal enjoyment. So, this is one of the hallmarks of gravity, that using material facilities without being controlled by them, without being controlled by the opulence. Fourth is he honored his commitments. So, before marriage, he promised that after begetting children, he would accept the renounced order. And even after experiencing so much family, pleasures of the family life and opulence, he he faithfully fulfilled that promise. So from this we can understand how a grave person is guided by principles rather than changing emotions or uh, external situations. Fifth is he accepted Lord's plan with composure. So when Lord Vishnu appeared before him and later incarnated as his son Lord Kapila, Kardama Muni remained humble. He was not uh, he neither become proud of such an extraordinary blessing or nor forgot his position as the servant of the Lord. So he was composed. He was composed when accepting Lord's plan. And sixth one is he knew when to leave worldly responsibilities. So after Lord Kapila's appearance and ensuring Devahuti's care, taking care of all his family responsibilities, and uh, he peacefully left home for a spiritual life. He was not attached to the family. He did not have a family attachment or hesitate to follow the Lord's instructions. So he knew when to leave the worldly responsibilities, performing them as a seva for the particular time, and then renouncing it at the right point. So this reflects his profound inner maturity and detachment. So in general, we can learn how Kardama Muni shows this quality of gravity, that remaining steady through success and failure, speaking thoughtfully rather than impulsively, fulfilling one's duties faithfully, enjoying material facilities only as a service without attachment, keeping one's ultimate goal, uh, pure devotional service to Krishna, above temporary pleasures. So that was everything I prepared to share about the quality of gravity and how Kardama Muni exemplifies it. So I would like to conclude my presentation with this. If you have any questions or reflections, please share.
Thank you, Nadiya Kishore Prabhu. Very nice class, very heartfelt, and so much research you did. It's really nice. And so many different facets of gravity you covered, and with so many Prabhupada pastimes also. It was very nice. Gave an understanding of gravity from different angles. Yeah. Thank you very much. It's very beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Prabhu.
I also loved the Prabhupada pastimes and also the verses that you found, Prabhuji. Yeah, a lot of research you have done, and how you very briefly mentioned the entire pastime of Kardama Muni from birth till uh, he passed. I mean, that was very, very, very nicely done. And yeah, thank you for choosing that particular character and so nicely explaining. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. And you are
Thank
a
you,
very
Prabhu.
brave person. You are a very brave person.
No, Prabhu, aspiring.
Very well.
Thank you, Prabhu, for beautiful points and contributions and so many sharing your realizations. It's a really cherry on top of the cake.
Suman Mataji says the talk had great gravity indeed. Thank you, Prabhu. Nitya Mataji sent me the message. Very nice connecting points from Sage of Study. Yeah, very nice connecting points from Sage of Study Mind and finishing it with Kardamuni, who's a Sage of Study Mind. Yeah, precisely. That's amazing. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention if everyone is okay. So you mentioned that one verse, na? Dukkheshu anudvignamana sukheshu vigataspruha vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir munir.
Yes, Prabhu, this one.
So this Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha comes in another verse in the fourth chapter. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhava Magataha. So Krishna there he is saying that let me go there. He is saying that Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, one who is freed from attachment, fear, and anger, Manmaya, fully in me, Mam Upashritaha, fully situated in me, that is Krishna. Bahavo Jnana Tapasa, many people with the help of knowledge and penance have been purified and developed transcendental love for me. Puta Madbhavam Agataha. So here Prabhupada writes something interesting, and this is not at all related to gravity or anything, but maybe it is related to gravity in the sense that it makes us really understand what, like, how serious the process of devotional service is. So in the purport of this verse, in the end, the second last sentence, Prabhupada writes, so he explains the nine stages of bhakti, and then he writes in after that he writes, so by the slow process of devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, one can attain the highest stage, being freed from all material attachment, from the fearfulness of one's individual spiritual personality, and from the frustrations that result in void philosophy. Then one can ultimately attain to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So, what I found interesting here is, so by the slow process of devotional service, typically what we say, devotional service has the power to, quickly, in a moment, purify you and make you perfect, right? But, and
Mm,
Prabhupada himself has said that in different contexts. Prabhupada has said, like, in one
Minute,
Q&A moment, yeah,
1 minute.
moment.
1 minute, yeah.
Yeah.
He said 1 minute, you can develop love for Krishna or whatever, become perfect. And then here in his purport, he's writing by the slow process of devotional service. So that really makes us think, that it's not a shortcut. It is not a shortcut to get pure love of God. We have to go through the process. And this is something that Gaurang Prabhu had mentioned in a class. He had said that we say na Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful incarnation. He came and he elevated
Mm,
even people like Jagai and Madhai. So there is so much hope for us and things like that. So Gaurang Prabhu was mentioning something interesting. He said that the entry into bhakti has been made very easy by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the graduation in bhakti still takes the same effort. It will still take the same effort. Sure, without Lord Chaitanya's mercy, one may not even have entry into spiritual life. Entry into one may not even know that there is something called as, Raga Bhakti and whatnot, such high states of self realization. One may not even know. So, in that sense, yes, getting into that college, the college of bhakti, has become easy by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. But that does not mean that graduating is also easy. For graduation, we have to go through the grind. We have to go through anartha nivritti. We have to work on ourselves and slowly, steadily, develop that pure love of God. So yeah, I found it interesting. Like we often say merciful, Namo Mahavadanyaya, right? So that
mm,
Mahavadanyaya, that supreme mercy of Lord Chaitanya is that we get entry into the realm of bhakti. But to attain perfection is still our responsibility and we still have to struggle for it. There is no shortcut for it. So yeah, this whole the fact that it's a slow process and there is no shortcut, brings some seriousness. Uh, yeah. Anyway, just blabbering.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the nice one. Actually, that class I attended one, I don't know, it was last year or the year before. Gaurang Prabhu gave a Bhagavatam class in Brooklyn Temple, and I was there in the class, and he mentioned that class, he mentioned exactly the same point.
Yeah,
So he was saying the exam is still the same. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada lowered the bar for us.
correct.
He lowered the bar, but the exam is still same. It's not that there is that has gone down.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so let me read out some more messages from the chat. Nupur says, "This was enlightening talk for me. My speech has no gravity. Thank you much for detailed dissection of the quality." Yeah, I don't believe that, Nupur, that your speech has no gravity. And I say that with all gravity. And then, yeah. Nice. Um, okay, so if no other thoughts, I just want to, who all are there on the call? Yeah. Gaur Kumar Prabhu, is it okay if I share about next Tuesday?
Yes, Prabhu, please share.
So, dear devotees, some of you already know who are here in the group, but for those of you who don't know, so next
Hmm.
Tuesday we are not going to have the class because during the daytime there is a nice initiation ceremony by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj at Bhakti Center, and three of our dear devotees in the Life of Devotion group, and one devotee who is present here right now with us in the Zoom call, they are going to get initiated. So Nupur, Karan Prabhu, and Ketan Doshi Prabhu. I don't know if you all know Ketan Prabhu, but yeah, he is also in the LOD group. So these three amazing devotees are going to take the next step in their spiritual life by making a commitment to, make this grave decision of taking to Krishna Bhakti in the Guru Parampara.
From
So
from next week, we won't have Nupur here.
yes, yes. So please bless them, dear devotees.
Maybe next Tuesday Nupur can give class after initiation.
Yeah,
Not Nupur, but yeah, that spiritual name.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Seeking all of your blessings, Prabhuji, to imbibe the quality of gravity as well, especially in that situation being present. So yeah, seeking of blessings and prayers. Thank you very much. Prabhuji.
Okay. So with that, so yeah, next week we won't have the class, and then we'll continue the week after that. That is August 11th. With we have few remaining qualities. So today was grave, and then we have merciful left, friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. So I will reach out to you all for these qualities, and yeah, let's make this a nice study of these 26 qualities. So with that, we'll conclude, dear devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa patitanam
Patitanam pavanam bhavishya
koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada.
पात की जय
His Grace Nadiya Kishore Prabhu ki jai.